Hey guys, this is season 1, episode 5, and I'm Avi.
I'm Lecky.
And today we're going to discuss top 3 about our injuries. So, top 3 injuries that we've had or currently are managing during our lifespan, really. So, here we go. Lecky's going to kick us off.
Yep, so this is real world stuff. These are injuries that I've suffered myself. So, we're going to give you top 3 injuries each. So, my first one is a moderate AC joint sprain. So, my game was rugby union. I played for a long time and I bunged my left shoulder up. So there's 3 grades of a sprain. The worst one's grade 3, it's completely gone. And mine was a high grade, grade 2. So I remember I think I was tackling somebody and I landed on my side and then he fell on top of me, a big bopper, and it kind of compressed my shoulders in. And the poor little ligaments in my shoulder, they just gave way, and then the AC joint separated. So you can see there's this step deformity, and if I whip my shirt off, you can see that mine, until this day, it's about 8 years later, I still got that little creaky step deformity. So just quickly, if you look at the shoulder, so this is me standing in front of you, this is my collarbone, shoulder blade at the back, arm bone. This is the ligament there that is no good, and so when that ligament's gone, I'll just tilt it down slightly, then the collarbone is free to raise up a little bit higher. So grade 2 AC joint sprain, 8 years old, still wounded, but can't pick the games you like.
Does it still feel unstable or anything like that?
It doesn't feel unstable, but it kind of creaks a little bit, so it makes funny sounds.
Yeah.
It's not painful. I can lift things, I can lift my kids. No dramas, but at the time I was pretty wounded.
How long was the recovery process?
So I think I missed about 6 weeks. Missed 6 weeks, and I wasn't the best guy at the time to rehab because I was juggling a few balls. I was working part time, doing uni, and playing sport. So I could have done a bit of a better job, but I know better now. So that's my bung shoulder story. Woe was me. Don't pull the violins out. You know, it's all good.
Alright, this is mine. Lateral ankle sprain. I think it was a grade 2, and then pretty much playing soccer. Went to jump over a slide tackle, and then just didn't land on it right because I was just worried I was going to step on the player's leg who slide tackled, and I pretty much just landed wrong, twisted my ankle, so ankle went this way. And all my ligaments on the side. It was 2 of them that got severely injured, and then I think I was out for about 6 to 8 weeks because I just wanted to get it right, rehab it properly, and I came back, did a bit of cardio, getting ready for the first game back. I think first game was like 9 weeks, and 10 minutes into the game, I got slide tackled on the same ankle. And pretty much rolled it again.
Deadly. Soccer's pretty dangerous.
Yeah, it's not a girly sport, as they say. So pretty much injured it, came back, then injured it again, and that was all in one season. That season, I think I had 3 injuries in total. I think I played about 5 games.
Is that juniors or seniors?
It would have been, I think it was like 18s.
Yeah. So were you still in Griffith or were you?
No, I was in Melbourne.
So it's Melbourne.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, so it wasn't great. Because I had a pretty good strike rate before that. Never really got any major injuries, and I thought, I'm top of the world. And then injury after injury, and pretty much every year I've sustained an injury. So at the moment I'm battling an injury as well. So that's my first injury. Ankle sprain's no good. One tip: really work on your single leg balance and get those glutes firing.
Awesome. So that was Avi's first injury. That probably set off everything. This was my very first injury. Hamstring. It was a high grade hamstring tear, and again, yes, I was playing rugby for my club, Footscray, and it was really strange. So I remember I had the ball and I broke the line. So you have your opposition in front of you and you run into the space between them. So you sort of are dragging some bodies behind you, and I think one had destabilized me, and so I had my legs to try and push through and keep my balance. And then I felt like the fibers, like a rope, just shear apart, and I felt the sharp pain. And I was hoping on my way down as I was falling that it was a bad cramp. I was hoping that it was a bad cramp, but I knew there was something more sinister because as I was lying down and clutching the back of my right leg, I was just sort of frozen still for a little while, and then I went to sort of try and bend my knee or drag my heel on the ground, and it was like one of the worst pains I've felt. So that was, I think, my first year playing senior, so I was about 18, 19 years old, and it kept me out for almost 2 months. I was on crutches for the first 3 to 4 weeks. I was at university at the time, and I think I was in a dance group at the time too. Couldn't dance. I was wounded. Got no sympathy at work, no sympathy at home, and it was a real big confidence breaker because I wasn't confident to run for the longest time. I was going through physio school and learning about some basics with anatomy, and in those early days there isn't a lot in rehabilitation, so I was just a lay person suffering a hamstring injury. So, sitting on the toilet was hard because the pressure of where the toilet sits on the hammy. So I couldn't sit in the loo comfortably. I did have my P's, but so I did dry. But so sitting was terrible. First couple of weeks, it was really painful rolling around in bed because naturally when you're half asleep, you're just kind of in that fetal position. And it's when you play a contact sport, you're prepared to befall an injury. So you're kind of ready. And Arvy's played rugby league, and he's played contact sports in soccer, so it's just part of the game. We accept that, but at the same time it's not a nice feeling. So I guess the reason why we're sharing our top 3 injuries here is we can empathize with the pain, because I couldn't sit on the toilet seat, couldn't sleep well, on crutches, reliant on other people. I had to write out some IOUs because people had to help me carry my books around at uni and things. So yeah, not good. So grade 2 hammy kept me out for 2 months. Took me another month to get up the confidence to start running, and then I got back and finished off that year. We actually ended up having a good year that year. We got to grand final, and I got burnt. I was on the wing, and I got burnt, and we lost because it was my fault. I missed a tackle. So bloody hammy slowed me down.
Have you had hammy issues since then?
I wouldn't say problems with the hammy. It's just weak. I think I need to work on strengthening and getting strong. My bridge is pretty bad, so I'd say yes. I've had problems because it's weak.
Okay. But yeah, mentally, have you, every time when you ran, did you have in the back of your head?
No, but my third injury, which I'll describe in a minute, definitely does. So that's my second injury, hammy.
Alright. So this is my second injury. Low back pain, pretty much chronic. No real diagnosis of it because no one was able to tell me what happened. This is probably the worst injury I've had, and I'm still probably carrying it every now and then, but it's improved quite a bit. So I think it was 2015 in Adelaide Southern Uni Games playing touch rugby. It would have been building up years before that, but this is where it started. Day 2 of the tournament, and just started to get this weird back pain, and I thought, oh, what's going on? Just kept playing through it. And just what was getting worse and worse because at touch you're pretty much sprinting, then have to bend real quickly and dump to the side and dive. Before that, I was like, when I was playing touch, I was just diving at anyone's feet, just try and score. And pretty much, so got that. And then I was stretching my glutes. That alleviated some of the pain, but at the same time, it was just making so much grief during that week. And on top of it, I'd go out and we'd party at night, have a few beverages.
I was about to say, was it the back injury from the game or from the extra time efforts?
No, so the back injury was actually during the game, but I think it built up over years. I just needed something to set it off. And then during those nights, we'd go drink and I'd forget about the back, and I'd do crazy stuff like I went on the mechanical bull. So it was pretty bad, but I got back from the tournament a week through because I bought like painkillers and like Voltarens and stuff, and just took like this and just smashed them and got me through the tournament. But when I got home, I was pretty much bedridden. I couldn't get out of bed. I was in a lot of pain, like a bit of pain around my legs, my glutes were very tight. Everything was just super tight. So and bending, just getting out of bed. And I think I had uni holidays at the time, so those few weeks were very tough. And then I went and seen a physio, and pretty much was seeing a physio for about a full year, regularly, weekly, and yeah, would just manage me, but still wouldn't give me the diagnosis. Got the MRI, nothing came up on the MRI, which was frustrating. Just a bit of a degeneration, bit of narrowing in the central canal, like most people have that. And then, but couldn't really find out what was actually going on. And then, so I was told not to play touch. Was told stay off running for a bit. Don't do deadlifts. Don't do squatting. Any of that. And so yeah, I just didn't do any of that. And just got really sort of weak, and I was just really down because I really wanted to play touch. And so I took, I think, a full year off touch. Did not touch it, and all I wanted to do was play. And then I think I was still playing soccer at the time, but yeah, it was just in the back of my mind, and I was just taking it easy. Like I was not going in 50-50s. I just didn't want to jump in the air for a header or anything. And that year was pretty depressing. So that was July, and it would have been until next July. And then I went and seen a couple of other physios, seen a couple of other people, and then I just got sick of it, and I was just paying money, and no one was really fixing me. And I'm like, no, that's it. I'm just gonna start my own strengthening work. And then because I was at physio school at the time, and then so I just started strengthening, started working on my core, and then glutes, and then started deadlifting with good technique. I wouldn't say it was good technique at the time, but
beach technique.
Yeah, and then I was just slowly getting back into it, and then I went and played touch again. Before and after every touch game, don't recommend. I was popping some strong anti-inflammatories and painkillers to play through it because I just had enough. I didn't want to sit out, and then eventually, mentally, I just felt like I'm not too bad, but at this time I don't dive. Still don't dive as much. Like I'm getting over it now mentally. Like my back's not as bad now, but it's a lot stronger because I've done a lot of core work, glutes work. They've gotten a lot stronger, so my back doesn't have to do the heavy lifting. Yep. So if you check out our last podcast vlog, where we discussed why low back pain happens, I was pretty much the same. Then just done my own rehab, and then I'm playing touch again. Stopped playing soccer because I don't know, too many injuries. Soccer, touch I could still play, but it's not as serious, I suppose, and it's not a long season. But so here and there I get a little bit of back niggles, but at the same time I recover a lot quicker, and I don't have to take any medications at the moment. So that's my back.
Yeah, that's interesting, because you're describing like a lot of like physical problems, right? Like how do you deal with like the head stuff, like dealing with the frustration and trying to be patient? Because that's something that's common for people who are suffering injuries. Like in the clinic we see like significant injuries, and the head stuff is really what can knock people over.
Yeah, I think that was one of the reasons I really stopped playing soccer, because I still want to go back and do a full pre-season, and in the back of the head I'm like, I do the pre-season because pre-season's the hardest, and a couple of games in and you injure yourself, and I was like, nah, I can't go through that again, because mentally I was just like, because I was at the age, I think I was 20 or something like that. I was at the age where it's like you either make it or you don't make it, and I was just like, probably won't make it because I'm just going to get injuries, because I was hearing a lot of players, professional, that were just getting niggles. They get an injury, then they come back, get an injury, and that's what I was thinking that's going to happen to me. So pretty much, I just gave up soccer altogether, and just really wanted to play touch, but because it's not as big as soccer and it's easier to make it further, but at the same time, touch probably was the sport that really sets it off. And even looking back at it, I think that was the sport that really made it worse, because a lot of people complain of back pain that play touch just because of the way the sport is.
Yep. Yeah. Touch, cricket, there's a lot of sports like grappling stuff. So we've tried our best to tackle back pain. So we've got this resource, it's called the Quick Fix, the guide, the fast solution for back pain. And it can help you with your own journey in back pain. For some people that are suffering those acute, really spasmy back pains, okay? We also have a chain of blog posts that Arby's been really good with in deconstructing some big lifts, activation exercises. He mentioned like activating your core. We're really big on pelvic girdle strengthening work. So those are free resources you can check out. We'll pop the links into this vlog, this podcast, so we can help you out with some more of these resources that we're giving to you free. So back pain, it is a bit of a Pandora's box. It can mean different things to different people, but there are some common links there that we're trying our best to make simple, making healthy simple. So check it out.
So So the back pain put me down, but if I had to give one recommendation for anyone going through back pain, just really look at your strengthening your back posterior chain, especially your bottom muscles, your glutes, especially glute med, and just get a good base with the core. So I do a lot of like planking, bird dog. Just look at McGill Big 3 every day, and that's ever since I've started doing that. I feel so much better in the back as well, because I still carry that low back niggle, but it's so much better, and I'm actually playing pretty high level touch at the moment as well. So
awesome. And again, that may warrant like its own vlog in the future, its own podcast. So more to come. Okay, my third and final injury is concussion. So that's my dodgy looking skull. This is actually the injury that stopped me from playing the game that I love. I suffered 3 concussion episodes in one season, which ended up being my last season. And I stupidly took it lightly. The first time I suffered the injury was the head knock. So again, playing rugby, I was going into a contact situation, and then there was a swinging arm. So you kind of eyes closed, you're just barreling through. And one of my teammates told me that I got a forearm to the head, and I was out. And then I think I was out for a couple of seconds, like a micro. I went to sleep, came up, and then finished off the rest of the game stupidly. And then the rest of that afternoon, the next day, I had headaches and weird signs, which I sort of just, don't worry about it. And then about 2 months later, I had my second concussion episode, went to sleep again. I think I went into a tackle, head was in the wrong position, knocked out. Didn't finish that game off. And then the third one was pretty bad. I was out for about 30 seconds. I was playing lower social grade, so there wasn't anyone on the field to keep an eye on me. And I was just lying there, no one really knew what to do. My wife was really worried, Belinda. She helped me off the field. Some of the guys were just trying their best. They were trying to get me into the car. On the way to the car, it was about a 100-meter walk. I collapsed twice, and I was breathing, but I lost consciousness. It was a home game at Footscray, so I got down to Footscray Western Hospital, and I blacked out twice in the car. Belinda was driving. Blacked out in the car twice. Got there, told the triaging nurse my symptoms, and got in straight away. Got CT scans, X-rays, all that. Came back all clear apart from a bit of swelling. And for the 2 weeks after that, I just had weird symptoms. And with concussion, it's an acute brain injury, trauma to the head, and it's this structure that swims in fluid that's inside a hard casing, your skull, your cranium. So if you get like a blunt trauma, it kind of knocks around in there, and if it gets inflamed, the pressure builds up. And so, if you think about your brain, what does it control? It's the computer that controls everything. So sensation, strength, your thoughts, concentration. And so I had a whole spectrum of signs. Like, for example, I forgot my Facebook password for 2 weeks. I had short-term memory loss. I had intense headaches. Belinda told me that I'm pretty mellow, but I was pretty aggressive. Like, I got angry, I had a short fuse, so I had behavioral changes. Concentration, at the time, we were smashing through Sons of Anarchy, because Belinda was pregnant at the time. I was smashing through Sons of Anarchy, and I got headaches concentrating, like trying to watch whatever was going on with Jax and the crew. So it was just really weird. So memory loss with Facebook, that's obviously a concern. Concentration, watching programs, headaches, and I couldn't run. I couldn't run for 2 years without getting a vague throbbing headache. So I didn't run. So I did a lot of low impact stuff, and still now I don't run that much, just because I know it's a conditioning thing, and I'm looking to get back into running. The last time I played was 2014. So for those 4 years up until last year, and I had a cheeky run playing a lower grade rugby game this year, which again, the heart takes over the brain sometimes. But for me, even though I really love playing rugby, for me it just didn't agree with my skinny anatomy and that sort of thing. So concussion I'm very big personally on concussion, because it can be glazed over a little bit. I think rugby and a lot of AFL are really big on protocols with returning back to sport. In rugby, they have a blue card. And with our pro trainer program, this is a big passion of mine and ours, to keep sports safe, because, again, personally, there wasn't anyone on hand. I was the guy that was looking after the health of the club, and I got injured. There was no one else around. My poor wife was trying to help me, and, she was obviously worried. She was carrying our baby. So that was just not a good position to be in. And I guess the reason why I'm just telling you the story of concussion is, even a health professional who should know what's going on ignores the symptoms, and so this is something that I'll look to drive a bit harder. And again, it may warrant its own vlog in the future, but concussion is a big thing. So those are our top 3 injuries, and and Harvey's got one more to go.
So back on the concussion, did they have the blue card back then?
Nah. There was they were starting to implement some changes, like the IRB at the time, World Rugby, was starting to introduce some changes, but no blue card.
Yeah. So what about when you're exercising normally? Do you have headaches at the moment?
No, it was just if I did like burpees, like last couple of years, anything where I jolted for too long, like even a couple of seconds, it would just bring this vagueness.
Yeah.
And then they got less and less with time.
Would you say it's more due to it's like a physical injury, or would you say it's more like pain sensitization, like more mentally you're feeling that?
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's hard to say. Like I went to see a neurologist one time, and it wasn't really that eventful for me. So I would say it was more the inflammatory side of things. Like once I made some diet changes and reduced a lot of the inflammatory processes, the bouncing, the jolting settled down really quickly.
All right. So this is my third one. Knee pain at the front, right greater than left. So this is probably a current injury I'm sort of dealing with at the moment. Got a couple other niggles that I'm dealing with, as Lecky would know. So pretty much walking wounded, but I'm just pushing through. So this knee pain would have been June this year. I was doing a German volume squat session. Silly of me, 10 by 10, so 10 sets of 10 reps, and this is pretty much a 10 rep max, so whatever I can do for like 10 reps is the weight I'll do.
So must push it, kill it, basically.
Yeah. So 7 sets in, was feeling pretty confident, not too bad, and I was like, I'm fatiguing, but I got to get it done. I had the couple of scoops of pre-workout, so I was buzzing. And then I went to get the final 3 sets done, but from the first set of that 7 set, I knew I was getting pain in the knees, and right was just worse than left. And then I just kept pushing through because I'm like, I can't be a coward.
Can't punk out.
Yeah, so pretty much just pushed it, did those 3 sets, and I reckon those knees were sore for about 3-4 days, constant pain. So I would highly recommend listen to your body. If you're feeling pain, that's not normal when you're working out or doing anything. Listen to it, and just take a break and rest it, or whatever you need to do. Just do it, because you're going to make it worse, because I'm still battling with that knee. Every time I squat, I'm still feeling it. It's calmed down a lot ever since I started doing the activation stuff. So if you have a look at the activation blog posts, I'm doing all of them every day before my squat day or whatever like that. Feeling a bit better. So, but every time I'd go heavy, my knees would just start playing up. So at the moment, I did a bit of a proper rehab, backed off of squats for a couple of weeks, and then built up into low bar squats with a box squat, and really focusing on pushing the knees out, and then going and then I'm playing touch at the moment as well, so which doesn't really help the knees. So I think that's another cause which just sets off the knees, because running at a quick pace and trying to step or any of those kind of movements really just put a lot of pressure on the knee joint, especially if the bottom muscles aren't firing properly. So, and then squatting, did the low bar squats back to that. So low bar squat with the box squat, and then felt confident, no knee pain. Then I moved into a normal. Now I've just started doing normal squats without the box. Just a couple of reps, like 5 to 6 reps, not pushing it, lighter weight, just trying to get through it with no pain at all. And so far doing well. And I think, so just make sure, listen to your pains.
Yeah.
And
What was the name of that drill again? German something?
German volume. Yeah.
German volume, they should have like neon light signs around it with flashing warnings. Saying, warning, you're going to failure.
Yeah.
So that's a really good key. Listen to your body, and if you feel some of the pains, it's usually an alarm bell telling you, the body's trying to tell you that, if you keep pushing, there's going to be dramas. So it's a lesson that we always learn. Like for me, I got knocked out twice, and the third time. So yeah, it's just one of those things, the passion drives you through. Sometimes you got to be logical.
Yeah, and that's coming from us physios. We're supposed to be fixing people, but we don't take our own advice at times.
Yeah, we're human.
Yeah.
We're human too.
So we understand when you got injuries and stuff, we understand how you feel and how much you want to get back into it, but we also know the dark side. So.
Yeah, so we definitely empathise. So guys, that's our vlog today. It's our top 3. Today the theme was top 3 injuries. The next time we visit top 3 will be on something similar, but it'll be top 3 of whatever that theme is. So I hope you enjoy it. If you do have a theme that you'd like us to share on, let us know, comment below, and look out for the resources that will point you towards about what we discussed today. Okay, have a great week. See you next time.
So, yeah.